What's up, Graysonreport? Why is this so loud on my end? Okay, there. What's up, Graysonreport? How's it going? What's up, Tammy, Delia Lux, Nikki Bella, Jen Decker, Tyrana, Matthew, Heather, whatever. Julissa, Joanne, Chris Barber, Logical Spock, and Brandon. How's everyone doing? Did anyone do anything interesting this Saturday? Or this weekend? Well, Saturday, technically. Did anyone do anything interesting? I'll wait a few more minutes for a few people to trickle in before we get into my topics. What's up, Bernadette? Finally watched, while I wait for people to come in, I watched It's Alive the other day. It's a film. It came out in 1974. I know of the poster. I know of it. I just never watched it. So I finally got to watch it. Typical 70s horror film. D-Nice, what's up? Daniel, how's it going? Melissa! Matthew had some car problems. That sucks. I hate when that happens. Delia looks to seen the Dropkick Murphys at the House of Blues. Oh, that's cool. Then I was just picking random movies to watch on Netflix. But other than that, I was trying to find, because at the end of It's Alive, it kind of hinted that there was a sequel. So if anyone can find It's Alive 2 streaming for free, not where you have to pay, I haven't been able to find where it's at, let me know. D-Nice is recovering from Disneyland. I want the baby from It's Alive now. Matthew watched all 3 Rush Hours. Oh, super cool. But other than that, I have a few other movies on my list that I need to watch. I kind of watched some random documentary today as well. But other than that, it's been a quiet Saturday for me. Melissa Smith is watching Lessons in Chemistry, not as much gore as you expect. Bernadette goes, I'm recovering from watching Barbie. I had to watch The Crow to feel normal again. Oh, they dropped the trailer to the new Crow. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. Lewis's, I guess his comment was like it reminded him of John Wick. Chris Barber upgraded my Wi-Fi today, so I'm hoping it fixes the issues I have been having. Hopefully it does. It's annoying having internet issues. Bernadette goes, I'm not liking it so far. I don't know what to think about it because I do not like his look. I do not. It's just the hot topic grunge look has to go. Like it, I don't know, not even the love story part of it that they showed in the trailer, it did not like get me either. There was like no chemistry. Melissa Smith is asking, when is Mora Rose's The Crow have eyes coming out? Oh, I have no clue. Bernadette goes, he looks like Jared Joker. Yeah, he does look like the Joker. Yes. He does. Hot Topic Joker. Except this is Hot Topic Crow. He does. D Nice goes, it's like Twilight Vampire Crow. Actually, D Nice, it's like a rated R Twilight Vampire Crow. Because the Twilight showed some skin, but not that much skin. Guys, for you, I don't know if any of you know, but for the LA area, growing up, you heard this name, Larry H. Parker. I know I'm waiting for a few more people to come in before I get into my topics. But Larry H. Parker, for all y'all that live in the LA area that know of him, I grew up seeing his commercials. Like, the guy's been on forever. And there was a report that he had passed away yesterday. So I was like, holy crap, he's the lawyer. Yes, D Nice, he is the lawyer. He would have infomercials or commercials that would come up and it goes, I will fight for you. This is Larry H. Parker. So he passed away. It's crazy because I felt like he was like 70 something. I felt like he was older than that because he's been around for so long. I remember him. I was in elementary school and he was like, my name is Larry H. Parker and I will fight for you. Yes, he passed away. He might not be the biggest celebrity, but here in LA, in the LA area, he is in some ways. So rest in peace, Larry H. Parker. For those of you who know who he is. Chris Barber goes, some remakes I will never see. The Crow is one. Guys, if you haven't done so already, smash that like button like Nikki Bella says. I was about to get a tongue twister there. All right, guys, have any of you guys heard, I know you guys have heard The Matrix from the movie The Matrix, but have any of you heard anyone use a glitch in The Matrix and that we are living in a simulation, besides me saying it, because I have mentioned it on the show, on previous shows? Heather Whatever, Cal Worthington was a big, same thing. He was always on TV as well. And my dog Spot. D Nice goes, didn't they bring in someone younger on the infomercials? Like I saw a recent one during the Super Bowl. Maybe he will carry that phrase. Maybe. Nerd Report in the house. So anyways, as you guys know, I watch Slaptam, and he sometimes posts videos. I'm not going to show any videos. I've got articles that and he's always said they're glitch in the Matrix and that there's people living in a simulation. So what I did was, okay, where did this come about? And what is it? So basically, I looked up glitch in the Matrix. I Googled it because I was like, where did this come from? Like, besides the movie, obviously the movie, right? So I looked up glitch in the Matrix. So a phrase first coined in the 1990 film The Matrix was posted the idea that humanity is living in a giant computer simulation. Over the years, a glitch in the Matrix has become shorthand for an example of an unusual occurrence that cannot logically be explained. I am 50-50 when it comes to these videos because the way I'm not going to show any videos because some of the videos I didn't actually find any videos. I found articles. But because with technology nowadays, it's kind of hard to believe you can have someone act like they're glitching and just film it and say, hey, what's going on here? It's a glitch in the Matrix. Lisa Boo has experienced some weirdness. She goes, I would see a pink and green car going to the star and an orange car on my way back. That is crazy. D Nice goes kind of like the Mandela effect or deja vu. Yes. So I decided to look up where this theory came from because I was curious as to where this theory came up that people think that we're living in a computer simulation. And that's why there are these weird glitches. So there's Big Brother looking over us, and we're all being controlled by computers. Lisa Boo goes, it was so strange. I would be if I saw, I've never had an experience like that. If I saw an experience like that, I would probably it would first come into my head like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe that simulation thing is right. But I am kind of like, I'm still very skeptical about it. So I decided to look up where this theory came up. I'm trying to see if I could get the article just by itself, but I don't think I can yet. Thank you, Lisa Boo, for the super sticker. And it's the fitness pair. Hearts for Lisa Boo, guys. Thank you for the support. Dusty, what is up? So this one is what is the simulation theory? Are we living in a computer simulation? And this is from Built-In. What is reality? Simulation theory tackles some heavy questions. What is reality? Countless brainiacs and psychedelia enthusiasts have pondered that question for centuries, formulating theories that run the gamut from scientific to mystical. Some outside the box thinkers, including philosophers and physicists, post the answer. The answer can be found in simulation theory, which contends it's possible that reality is merely an ultra high-tech computer simulation where we sim work, sim live, sim laugh, and sim love. Bernadette! Thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 11 months. Woo! Hearts for Bernadette, guys! So, simulation theory definition. Simulation theory is a theoretical hypothesis that says what people perceive as reality is actually an advanced, hyper-realistic computer simulation, possibly overseen by a higher being. So, guys, do you think that our life is a simulation like The Sims? I'm very skeptical about this. I am super skeptical about this. I do not believe that there's some otherworldly being behind a computer screen controlling us. Julissa, thank you also for being a member for 11 months. And she also goes, woo, to follow Bernadette. Hearts for Julissa as well. Project Metal Music, A up. Heather whatever goes, no, hey, computer, make my dishes disappear. Wouldn't that be nice? No, I don't either. So it goes on, what is simulation theory? Thank you, Melissa, as well, for being a member of the Wolfpack for 11 months. Cow, Mora. Hearts for Melissa Smith. So simulation theory says that we are all likely living in an extremely powerful computer program. directed by an entity outside of our physical comprehension. In this situation, humans are not necessarily real and tangible beings, but instead predetermined, coded constructs of the digital world we inhabit. Living in a simulation can be likened to living in a gigantic game of The Sims, except we ourselves are the characters inside the screen, which do not believe in this. It's kind of like Xenu. I don't know why this is bringing that. I don't know. Brandon, thank you for being a member. I'm just gonna put myself up here. Thank you, Brandon, for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 10 months. Isn't it like that with VR now? Yes, kind of, because there's some people that spend all I don't know if there is, but I'm gonna guess that there is. There's probably some people that play VR all day long. Hearts for Brandon, thank you. If we live in a computer simulation, then who is the programmer? Swedish philosopher Nick Bostrom contends in his 2003 paper that future generations might have mega computers that can run numerous and detailed simulation. Nerd Report! Thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 11 months as well. Hearts for Nerd Report. Thank you guys for the support. That future generations might have mega computers that can run numerous and detailed simulations of their forebears in which simulated beings are imbued with a sort of artificial consciousness. Odds are we are products of that simulation and we may not be the original species of humans. Dusty Lane goes, I find it extremely fascinating trying to imagine the hypothesis. However, I find it hard to believe, but kind of goes with time travel. Mathematically possible. I find it fascinating. That's why I wanted to look up what this theory is, where it came from. I'm not sure if this article is going to tell us where it came from, but it is telling us about the theory. It could be the case, Bostrom writes, that the vast majority of minds like ours do not belong to the original race, but rather to people simulated by the advanced descendants of an original race. It is then possible to argue that, if this were the case, we would be rational to think that we are likely among the simulated minds rather than among the original biological ones. Chris Barber, thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 6 months. Hearts for Chris Barber as well. Thank you for the support. Daniel Miles goes, Earth is a spaceship traveling through time. Reproduction is a must, so when we reach our final destination. Other philosophers have expanded on Bostrom's argument. New York University philosophy professor David Chalmers described the higher being responsible for the potential hyper-realistic simulation as a programmer in the next universe up. Perhaps one we mortals might consider it a god of some sort, though not necessarily in the traditional sense. They may just be a teenager, Chalmers said, hacking on a computer and running 5 universes in the background. But it might be someone who is nonetheless omniscient, all-knowing and all-powerful about our world. Just imagine you have this teenager running 5 simulations on a computer and we're in it. That, I don't know. I don't know about that one. How would simulated reality work? For a simulated reality to operate, this could be carried out through one of 2 notable scenarios. Number 1, everything we know is simulated. Why do I feel like I'm reading I don't know, kind of like, I feel like this is a manifesto of some crazy religion. It's reminding me of a certain one, to be honest with you. Everything we know is simulated. Number one. In the first scenario, this assumes that everything that exists, including every person, environment, object, occurrence, and sensation, is a byproduct of code. This scenario will require hardware powerful enough to simulate all of these components and known physics on a highly detailed intergalactic scale. Reality, in this sense, may be imagined as an elaborate open world program that is running on a supercomputer or quantum computer beyond our capable understanding. So something, and this article was written December 6, 2023. I was just wondering how old this article was. Number 2. Matthew goes, I refuse to believe someone would program people to have car troubles. I agree, Matthew. I do. Melissa goes, who would unplug and who would eat steak, red or blue pill? So number 2, the world we know is simulated. In the second scenario, this assumes humans themselves are real and organic, but that the world and a number of people that surrounds us are simulated. So this computer in front of me is simulated. To carry this out, we would have to trick our consciousness into thinking that we are in true reality, in which all sensations feel lifelike and simulated characters mimicking humans are able to pass the Turing test. Okay, now this is really starting to sound like a certain cult that's floating around. It really is. Along with powerful computing hardware. This scenario would also require artificial intelligence, complex enough to be perceived as real by the human mind, except they are aliens. In this case, it's computers. Kyle goes, my son's ADHD is too random for simulation. Brandon would take both the red and blue pill to see what happens. Daniel would play with the machine code. Simulation theory in this scenario, so this is number 2, can be illustrated by the movie The Matrix. The film depicts a post-apocalyptic world in which a race of machines have captured most of humanity and imprisoned their minds within an artificial reality known as the Matrix. In order to harvest human body heat and electrochemical energy. In the film, humans going about their everyday lives didn't realize that they were actually living in a simulation because a cable plugged into their neocortices beamed signals into their brains and read their reactions. Bernadette! Thank you for the super chat. Here's some Matrix bucks. Hearts for Bernadette, guys. Bernadette, thank you for the support. Matthew goes, yeah, you would think all of the computer people in the simulation would have been hacked by now. Yes, by someone, by a teenager. We would all have horns growing out of our head or something. I don't know. Some ways to achieve that could be through advanced virtual reality or brain-computer interface, BCI technologies, where VR could display realistic imagery for users, or where BCIs could send signals to the brain to stimulate realistic sensory inputs like sight. As for achieving other realistic human characters, we would need to gain a greater understanding of human consciousness and how it works so we can produce conscious AI. Rizwan Verk, a tech entrepreneur and author of the simulation hypothesis, told Built In. This, Verk said, is coming. I mean, we've already got virtual reality and yes. And I've used it. I've used one of the the headsets. The problem is when you're wearing glasses, it pushes up against your eyes. So you do know you have a headset on your head in my case. So I can't get lost in it. Kyle goes Lawnmower Man more so than The Matrix. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Arguments for the simulation theory. So the multiverse and virtual universes. Bostrom argued in his paper that if humans are able to survive thousands of years to reach a post-human state, one in which we have acquired most of the technological capabilities, consist with physical laws and materials and energy constraints, is likely they would have the capabilities to run ancestral simulations. In post-human civilization, Bostrom proposes that machines running simulations could be stacked and that a simulated machine can simulate another machine. This makes for a possibility of multiple levels of reality where the number and likelihood of simulated realities would only increase over time. Matthew goes, also, if we created real AI in this simulation, the simulation would have gotten rid of it. Mathematicians have proved that a universal computing machine can create an artificial world that it itself capable of simulating its own world, and so on ad infinitum. In other words, simulations nest inside simulations inside simulations, wrote cosmologist Paul Davies in 2003. Because fake worlds can outnumber real ones without restrictions, the real multiverse would inevitably spawn a vastly greater numbers of virtual multiverses. So the multiverse theory in The Flash isn't far-fetched. Technological limits have yet to be discovered. The real question is, what are the limits of computing powers? Delea Lux! Thank you for the super chat. Here's a pot of gold for you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hearts for Delea Lux. Thank you for the support. And for the pot of gold. I'm still looking for that leprechaun. So it goes, technological limits have yet to be discovered. The real question is, what are the limits of computing powers, said astronomer Martin Rees in an interview with space.com. He continued to explain that we can have a virtual universe in our computer and calculate what happens if you crash galaxies together. It's not crazy to believe that sometime in the far future, there could be computers which can simulate a fairly large fraction of the world. Judging by the types of real-world simulations scientists can now run on supercomputers, what might they be able to run in the future are processing powers achieve levels we currently can't fathom. Even if we're not at that technological level yet, Burke thinks we will be at some point. There are 10 checkpoints on the road to full-blown simulation, he said, and we're nearly halfway to our destination. Heather, whatever goes, when world collides. Arguments against simulation theory. Simulating humans would be an odd choice. I think in the future, because we already have virtual reality, I feel like in the future, people would create, a simulation that people can get lost into, but I don't think that we're actually in one currently. But I think in the future, with the way technology is going, that it's a big possibility. It's plausible. Simulating humans would be an odd choice. In 2016, during the 17th annual Isaac Asimov panel debate at New York's American Museum of Natural History, simulation theory was discussed by a panel of scientific experts that included Professor Chalmers, astronomer Neil deGrasse Tyson, University of Maryland psychics Professor Zorae Davidi, and Harvard University physicist Lisa Randall. Randall was the group's most definitive doubter, although she allowed for the possibility that nothing is what it seems, including the cognitive process of observation. She also wondered about the judgment of her supposed simulators in choosing humankind for their grand experiment. It's just not based on well-defined probabilities, Randall said. The argument says you'd have lots of things that want to simulate us. I actually have a problem with that. We mostly are interested in ourselves. Why simulate us? I mean, there's so many things to be simulating. I don't know why this higher species would want to bother with us. True. I agree with her on that one. We'd be so boring to a higher species, I feel like. Simulating reality would require too much computing power. With the idea of Bostrom's post-human simulator, he also wrote that it would need sufficient computing power to keep track of the detailed belief states in all human brains at all times. This would be in order to sense observations of birds, cars, and so on before they happen and provide simulated details of whatever was about to be observed. In the event of a simulation breakdown, the director could simply edit the states of any brains that have become aware of an anomaly before it spoils the simulation. Alternatively, the director could skip back a few seconds and rerun the simulation in a way that avoids the problem. Matthew goes, why not make us all look like Twisted Sister? Many argue if we will ever have technology powerful enough to make that possible. I think we will someday, but I don't think we have that power now. In 2017, physicists Zohar Ringel and Dmitry Kovzitsky published a Science Advances articles titled Quantized Gravitational Responses, the Sign Problem, and Quantum Complexity, which was widely thought to disprove the simulation theory once and for all by addressing lack of technological capabilities. In their work, they proved that a classical computing technique called quantum Monte Carlo, used to stimulate quantum particles, photons, electrons, and other types of particles that compromise the universe, was insufficient to simulate a quantum computer itself, a breakthrough that would negate the need to physically build these next-level machines, which is no easy task. And if it's impossible to simulate a quantum computer, forget about simulating the universe. Nonetheless, Ringel appeared to leave the door ever so slightly cracked when he told Popular Mechanics, who knows what are the computing capabilities of whatever simulates us. So he kind of gave it away that he kind of believes in that theory, though. The consequences of proving life is a simulation. I kind of agree with that. I don't think we have the computing technology or a computer strong enough to be able to run a simulation that complex, where people have their own thought processes and they can distinguish observations. And yeah. Daniel Miles goes, how would we even know? We wouldn't know. That's the problem. We wouldn't know what reality was, because this would be our reality. Matthew goes, if the Matrix is real, why hasn't an alien race destroyed it to save us? True. Kyle goes, if we lived in a simulation, I imagine the overlords would play with us like we do in The Sims. Yes. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure we would see more glitches then. There'd be people doing crazy things. I mean, if anyone has played The Sims, I'm sure. I haven't played The Sims in a long time, but if you can control somebody, you're going to want to make them do something crazy. So I would think there's more crazy, odd things happening in the world than there are. I mean, there are crazy things that are happening, but I figured it'd be more frequent. Preston Green, a philosophy professor of Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, says he thinks he could be living in a simulation right now, but proving as much he has warned would be catastrophic. I mean, do you think if people would, I mean, it would make you double think if what you were doing was ever real. But he's saying that it would cause the world to crash. Daniel Miles goes, am I really eating blue cotton candy right now? Tampering with a greater experience. If our physicists use experiments to prove we live in a simulation and they tell everyone about this, and that has a large effect on how our civilization behaves, Green explains, then our simulation would no longer be useful for answering questions about the basement fundamental level of reality, which contains the computers doing assimilation. Green continued, this is because such experimental proofs could never happen on the basement level. So even though there are many possibilities for how our simulators would react to our using experiments to prove we live in a simulation, simulation shutdown is worth taking at least as seriously as anything else, since it is supported by observed trends in simulation science. So it'd be like, I kind of took that like how in the Flash, how when they go back in time, how he changed one little thing and it changed the future. So I kind of feel like that's kind of what they were saying here. So it kind of but I don't know if people would if we all found out that this was a simulation, if we would if it would be catastrophic. I bet you there'd be people that would fight back and try to find the person controlling it, which may make a great film. That's the only thing I can think I can see happening is someone trying to find the source. The simulation could end. Just as present day researchers use simulations to digitally create scenarios to aid scientific study, such as what would happen if we eliminated mosquitoes, our world and every moment of our past existence might be the simulated experiment of future humans. And just as scientists can terminate simulations of earthquakes, weathers, etc., when they no longer provide useful data, so too can our hypothetical overlords pull the plug at any time without warning. Be rest assured, Green said, it would be a quick and painless death. Also, too, if we were in a simulation, why? I mean, I guess, yeah, because people can be. Yeah, never mind. I was going to say, if we were in a simulation, why would somebody want hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, destruction, floods? But then I'm thinking, too, some people are demented. Water Dragon, what's up? They say for time travel, one can only go in a single direction. Why does simulation theory matter? If we do all live in a simulation, why does any of this matter? What is the purpose of proving or disproving that life as we know it is merely a digital construct and existent? Simply an immensely complex experiment in someone's virtual terrarium. It's like, oh my god, you know what this reminds me of? Divergent. If you guys, the last movie, it was like the whole thing was an experiment of how they isolated I don't know if you guys are familiar with Divergent. This is what this is reminding me of. Oh my gosh, Divergent. How the last few movies, the first movie was the only movie that was kind of true to the book. The other movies weren't. But if you guys are familiar with Divergent, they had created the factions, and come to find out that it was people controlling it from somewhere else as a test. So that's kind of, yeah. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. This is what this reminds me of. Except it wasn't a simulation. It was just a test kind of thing. Water dragon, that's true. Water dragon goes, simulation can't be a utopia or people would know it's wrong. It has to be crappy for us to believe. Dusty goes, I recently watched a movie where a boy created a computer game so he could spend time with his dead father. It was simulated through the mom's memory. No doubt in the future that I believe that this could happen. Because I don't think it could happen now. I don't think our technology is where it needs to be for this to happen. The broad answer, Verk said, is that which all good science pursues, truth, more specifically, our truth. If we do in fact exist inside a video game that requires our characters to perform certain quests and achievements in order to progress, Verk persisted, wouldn't it be useful to know what kind of game we're in to increase our chances of surviving and thriving? His answer, not surprisingly, is an unqualified yes. I think it would make all the difference in the world, whatever type of world it is. So, guys, what did you think of that article? I also have another article that have glitch in the Matrix stories, but what did you guys think of us living in a simulation? Matthew goes, real life Matrix sucks. How we come up with superpowers, yet the simulation couldn't make the simulation dumber than us. Gunner girl, what's up? Heather, whatever goes, God wants me to love God, doesn't make me as that would defeat it. Free will, I can or cannot do that. That's one heck of a respectful creator to me. Julius, I agree. We are definitely not living in a simulation. As I was saying, in the future, when technology, I know technology is going that direction where we'll be able to, I believe in the future we'll be able to do that, but I don't think now we can do that. It is an interesting theory, though, I'll put that, but I don't think that we're living in a simulation and all these weird, crazy things that we might come across in life has nothing to do with us being in a simulation. Tyrana goes, very interesting. It is very interesting. It unfortunately the article did not say like where like it officially came about, because I understand the Matrix is probably part of it, but it doesn't say like who like thought of that simulation theory. Bernadette goes, we're living in a material world and I'm a material girl. And I don't think we are living in a video game currently. I feel like there would be more craziness going on if that was the case. And it would probably be some demented teenager sitting in their mom's basement with this supercomputer causing havoc to the world. Matthew goes, Ryan Gosling is also a material girl. Wendy, how's it going? So that comes to my next article. Heather, whatever goes for now, I live certain human experiences only in my memories, better than none, but not as good. D-Nice, I have never seen Gamer. I'll add that to my list. I've never seen it. Dusty goes, if we were, it would definitely be a demented person creating all this havoc. I agree. Because if it wasn't, there'd be no hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, volcanoes erupting, airplanes crashing, car accidents, crazy cults. So this comes to my next article, which is from Thought Catalog. And it was posted January of 2024, so it's not that old. And it goes 100 plus glitch in the Matrix stories that will make you believe in the supernatural. Logical Spock. We are all living in a video game. Super Mario Brothers. Biden is Bowser, and we are all Mario and Luigi trying to get away. Heather, whatever goes, don't pay attention to the guy behind the curtain. Just imagine thinking that, like, Heather, whatever goes, simulate hot popcorn, and I'll see. For now, I want real crunchies. No, just think. You can just think of it, and it'll appear. So, I want $1 million, and it appears. Brandon goes, do you believe in dimensions more than the Matrix? That is a good question. I never thought about that, Brandon. I mean, I guess in some ways I do, because I do believe that the spirit world, so that can be considered a dimension. So I guess I do in some sorts. But other than that, I never thought of it beyond that. Bernadette goes, is Neo really John Wick, or is John Wick really Neo? It's both, Bernadette. Kyle believes dimensions do exist. I do believe in the spirit world, so that could, but beyond that, I never thought about it. Dark and Crypt goes, we do live in a matrix. Beautiful topic. So this one goes, the glitch in the Matrix story. I'll show a little of it, and then, so basically, because this view isn't good for articles, but here's a bit of the article. It's from Thought Catalog, and it's 100 plus glitches in the Matrix stories that will make you believe in the supernatural. So glitch in the Matrix stories are first-hand accounts of some small but puzzling occurrences that has no logical explanations. The name comes from the movie The Matrix, where a glitch drew someone's attention to the fact that they were in a simulation. Glitch in the Matrix stories evoke the feeling that the world is not as we've envisioned it to be. These are the best glitches in the Matrix stories on the internet. Add your own glitch in the Matrix stories to the comments, is what they're asking. Water Dragon is asking, have you seen Nobody? Guy who plays Sal is a Wick-like character. No, I have not. So go a creepy general, I say Tissot story. Me and my friend were at a Chinese restaurant and we ordered a general. I always say Tissot, but I know that's not how you pronounce it. It's probably like so. General So. Chicken dinner and a shrimp lo mein dish. When we sat down, we took out both boxes and set them on the table about 2 feet apart. My friend opens the first box and we see a shrimp lo mein dish. It has all the things in there: noodles, shrimp, fried rice. He closes the box and opens the other box. Inside the box is another shrimp lo mein dish: shrimp, noodles, fried rice. Oh, I think they must have mixed the order. I was just about to say this when my friend says out loud, looks like they made a mistake and gave us 2. As he opens up the first box again, inside is the General So chicken dinner order. General So chicken, white rice, and an egg roll. He froze and looked at me. I looked back at him and we sat in silence. It took us 5 or so minutes to collect ourselves. I have no idea what the F happened. Water Dragon, I may have to check it out. Saying Nobody is on Netflix. It was entertaining. Nerd Report going, ask me questions or I'll turn off. Water Dragon goes, what do you mean dimensions, like different timelines a la Flash? That's what I was thinking at first, Water Dragon. And I'll get back to the second story. I was thinking that at first, but I never thought of a dimension like that with different timelines. That's why I said I never thought of any other dimensions besides the spirit world. Beyond that, I've never thought of anything else. Like different timelines like the Flash or weird other dimensions. Maybe. How do you get there? Good question, Water Dragon. Heather Whatever goes, I met a lady in LA. We were so much alike, but she was 4 years older. We did trip on it a bit. Ice cream stain. I spilled chocolate ice cream on my leg. I wiped it off and there was still a pale brown stain in the shape of the ice cream splotch. I told my mother, who said it was a birthmark. I will swear under oath that never before that moment did I have a birthmark there. Dun dun dun! D nice, that's a good one. Inception, we're just in a deep sleep. That's a good one. Daniel goes, you get there from the Matrix glitching. Brandon goes, maybe the person running the Matrix is on the other side of the black hole. Dusty goes, some believe if you believe in multiple timelines, once you choose a new line, the old one disappears. Ooh, I like that one, Dusty. I'm thinking, Heather, whatever going, Inception music playing in my head. I'm thinking of the top. Panda Bear goes like that show of the Outlander or Outsider where a lady went back in time at the Stonehenge. Dark and Crypt goes, maybe it is you on the other side of the Matrix controlling it all. Maybe. You never know. The hotel room shifted beneath us as we slept. Was on a road trip with family once. We stayed at a hotel for a night. Our room was nothing more than two beds and a restroom with a big ass mirror on across from the beds. Everyone went to sleep but me. I stayed up playing a mobile game I was addicted to at the time. At about 2 a.m., I went to sleep. When I woke up, I noticed something was just ever so slightly off. The mirror was gone. The room had two separate bedrooms, and there were three beds. Apparently, I was the only one who noticed it because my family called me crazy. Still confused as F to this day as to what happened. Panda Bear just wants to know where Neo is. Her cell phone teleported from one place to another. My friend and I were talking to our roommate and her girlfriend one night. Roommate had just received her new phone and was sitting in bed using it while the four of us chatted. So, roommate had sat her phone down while we were all chatting. She goes to pick it back up and is gone. Like she had just sat it down for a few minutes, tops, before she noticed that the thing had poofed. I called it for her and we couldn't hear it. We take the comforter and sheets off the bed and shake them all out. We looked under the bed, behind it, everywhere we can. The phone is gone. Even though we hadn't left the room at all during our conversation when the phone disappeared, we tore apart the whole apartment trying to find it. Finally, we decided to try her car. It was in the locked trunk. We lived on the third floor and were all in the same room watching her use it before it teleported. Now I would be tripping out if that happened to me. I'd be like, no way. Number 5, I saw and heard a disembodied hand smacking my nightstand. That I don't consider that a glitch in a matrix though. I was putting, but I guess it's unexplained, which is kind of the definition of glitch in the matrix. So I was putting makeup on, and from the corner of my eye, I saw what looked like the shadow of a hand slap down onto my nightstand. Would have dismissed it as my brain playing tricks on me or something, but I heard it too. And it sounded like a really loud smack. Was weird, but I've experienced so many small unusual incidents like this, things randomly falling or shaking. So I guess I've become apathetic to it. That was the first time I ever actually heard the thing too, though. I wonder where they got these stories from. It doesn't say. Like if they got it from Reddit. D Nice goes, that was Doctor Strange using a portal to slap the nightstand. Heather, whatever, would just tell it not to hit the furniture. Number 6, I found a photograph that defies the laws of reality. I went to camp when I was around 12-ish. Took one of those disposable film cameras with me. Cell phones were still in flip phone phase and I didn't have one. Took a picture of two people I made friends with there. One of them appears in the photo twice in two different poses entirely. Still weirds me out when I come across that photo. So is this person saying that they took two pictures of two different friends, but it ended up being one person? One of the friends in both photos, but in different poses. That's what I'm wondering. Matthew goes, Skeleduck. That's a mystery. Yes, it is. It is. I wonder where he is. D Nice goes, imagine a reality where Skeleduck never existed. That would be depressing. It would be. I love Skeleduck. Number 7, I experienced a moment where time stayed frozen. When I was a teenager, I was in a room and decided to go to the kitchen to make a sandwich. I looked at the clock before I left, 6:48 p.m. Went to the kitchen, made an awesome sandwich, got some chips and a drink. This probably took me at least 10 minutes. When I walked back into my room, the clock still said 6:48. I stood there for a bit, really confused. Then it turned to 6:49. That's crazy. Daniel, you can't find him? Talking about Skeleduck. Matthew, that would be so cool. Better still, a universe where Skeleduck talks and floats around everywhere you go. Number 8, multiple drivers experienced a time jump on the same street. Had a friend who was convinced something was wrong with the area between the nearby town and his home, or maybe it was his car. He claimed that many times he'd leave work and somehow be home 5 minutes later when it was a 15 to 20-minute drive. It was crazy. He wasn't the only one to experience it either. Happened to a few friends that rode with him. Definitely weird stuff. Number 9, I answered a phone call that the other person never actually experienced. I know, Gunner Girl. I'm still wondering where Skeleduck is. I was sitting in my office one day when my desk phone rings, and it is my undersheriff asking me to bring him all the reports, dispatch logs, any documentation reference to a specific, so I get it all together and start toward his office. I met him in the hallway and hand him the paperwork. He asked what it was. I told him it's the so-and-so documents you asked for. He then swears he never asked me for it, that he had just arrived and had not called my office. He was on his way down the hall to ask me to get it together. Water Dragon goes, I've zoned out driving before. I suddenly realize I'm much further than I should be. It's concerning. The person put the same story again, except they put a different name to it. Daniel goes, but I could not see the duck on my PC screen. Only when I looked on my phone. Weird, man. Something's going on here. I knew the words about to be said before they left anyone's lips. To this day, I cannot explain what happened. Was watching TV with friends and we landed on some old 80s movie I used to watch over and over, but hadn't seen in a long time. I had the dialogue memorized and it all instantly came back, and I knew what was going to be said next. Here's the freaky part. We changed channels and kept trying to find something to watch. I noticed that everything we watched was the same. I knew every line of dialogue as if I was remembering it from having memorized it. There were all things I had never watched before. Here's the real freaky part. It started happening even when my friends were talking. An instant before they said anything, I knew word for word what they were saying. The effect only lasted an hour or so, but it was bizarre. That would freak me out if that happened. I feel like some of these, like this one goes, the lights flickered whenever I walked inside a room. I don't consider that like a glitch in the Matrix. I don't know about you guys. That's more paranormal to me. Sometimes I swear that lights flicker in whatever room I'm in. It's like someone turned all the present lights off simultaneously. I even asked those around me if they saw the lights turn off. I don't recall blinking any time this has happened either. I wonder if I have many nanosecond blackouts. Dun dun dun. I had insight number 13, lucky number 13. I'm probably not going to end up reading all 100, but we'll see where we go. I had inside knowledge on strangers that I had never met before. Sometimes I'll be talking to someone I've never met, and very specific facts about them will pop into my consciousness out of nowhere. Like this person had a golden retriever that died in 2009. Then they'll inevitably bring up the fact that I mentioned without me saying anything first. Sometimes second later, sometimes years. Daniel goes, that's how the paranormal are getting our attention. They're coming from the Matrix. Heather, whatever go, that's like my LA friend. We said the same things. Like, I want to paint billboards for a living, and she said, me too. They weren't regular things. They hand painted some billboards in LA. I think they still do that sometimes. Heather, whatever. Melissa goes, I do the opposite. I forget really important things my friends tell me. Daniel goes, Edge of Tomorrow, I've watched over 100 times in the last 3 months. Number 14, my sister swore she had a conversation with me that never occurred in our reality. Every once in a while, I have dreams about places or people I've never seen. Then, about 6 or 7 months later, I'm in the place or with the people and have déjà vu. I also sing random songs even when something else is playing on the radio. Then the next song that plays is what I was singing. I've done this on mine, my best friend, and my girlfriend's iPod on shuffle many times, and it freaks them the F out every time. One super weird thing, though, happened in about 2012 ish. I was 19 and living at home with my parents and younger sister still. I came home from work from my job at a barbecue place, and my sister says to me, oh, I thought you said you were off today. I'm confused because I left at 5 a.m. before anyone was awake, and I asked her, when did I say that? She says to me, like 2 hours ago in your room. She thinks I'm screwing with her, so I tell her to smell me because you could smell the barbecue sauce and smoke on me. Then she gets really creeped out and tells me she had went into my room earlier and seen me in bed with covers up to my neck and had a 15-minute conversation with me. That crap really creeped me out, and I never felt comfortable in that room ever again. Nerd report in the house. Heather, whatever goes freaky. That one's freaky. That would freak me out. I don't know if I could go back in that room. Especially if your sister had said that she seen you 15 minutes ago in bed covered up. Daniel goes, I keep saying my girlfriend is changing my memories because I'm remembering them the way I remember them and she remembering them the way she remembers them. It's horrible. Then you start questioning everything. You do kind of. If someone mentions something, you go, I don't remember it being that way. I remember it being this way. And then you kind of um true, Daniel. Daniel goes, I start arguing about it. It's true. Super true. Number 15, my cup jumped from place to place without any reasonable explanation. When I was about 9, I was eating dinner in my room for some reason. I was sitting at my dresser that had a big mirror, and my dad came in to check on me. He asked me if I wanted some more tea, to which I said yes and handed him my cup. I watched him walk out and close the door, look over to see my cup full of tea right from where I picked it up. I asked my dad about it. He said he never came into my room. That is creepy. Number 16, he had a vivid hallucination of a car crash that could have happened. Here's one from my brother. I don't think our mom believed him, but I certainly do. He seemed spooked when he got home. He was sitting in the passenger seat driving home alongside my mom. A bright green car swerves and hits them, knocking bits and pieces of glass into his arm. He jolted awake afterwards just in time to see the green car pass them. He claimed he felt the marks the glass left afterwards, too. I've had dreams like that where you wake up, you have like a nightmare and you're screaming and you feel like something's on top of you and you wake up and you still feel like something's on top of you and you kind of scream. Number 17. I watch a man teleport in broad daylight. I have to preface this with some backstory about a man named Zeus. Now, Zeus has a reputation around Knoxville, Tennessee as a bit of an eccentric character. My brother has told me stories about him making people pass out just by whispering in their ear, giving people glass pendants and saying this is the color of your soul. Just generally unusual stuff. He was thought of as a magic man of sorts. Well, long story short, my brother and I were walking through the West Town Mall when we saw him. Now, let me tell you, this guy is incredibly recognizable. I'm talking 6'5", African dude with a gray goatee, nose piercings, and at least 4 rings per finger. He always carried a staff and wore a floor-length black duster jacket with huge ass buckles on the front. This was Zeus. We saw him walking just a bit ahead of us and then turned toward an exit. Naturally, we lost sight of him for probably 60 seconds after he turned the corner and left the mall. The weird thing was after my brother and I passed the same exit, and not more than about 30 seconds later, we were coming upon another exit entrance on the other side of the mall, when all of a sudden out pops, you guessed it, good old Zeus, the magic man. Now, this is a big place. It takes about 5 minutes to walk the length of it. There's absolutely no way he could have made it to the opposite side of the place in the time he did, even if he was sprinting or was somehow able to go up and over buildings. 60 seconds is just not enough time. This man teleported. There's just no other way to slice it. Nerd Report saying Lisa is less than 100 away from 2K subs. So guys, if you make sure you are sub triple check because YouTube likes to be pesky. Water Dragon goes Final Destination. Whenever I'm driving behind a truck or like a worker's truck, I always think Final Destination. That always comes up. Check something real quick, guys. Thank you, Heather Whatever, for your PayPal hearts for Heather Whatever. Thank you, Heather Whatever, for your support. You are awesome. Because my phone doesn't make noise anymore. And then I went in there to check, and the notifications are on. It just doesn't make that noise anymore, which is weird. Number 18. I made a completely random guess that turned out to be true. I was waiting tables about 12 years ago, and my coworker forgot to put in a food order for a 3-top table. He also forgot what the order was. I was laughing at him, stressing out, trying to figure it out, and I said it was probably fried mozzarella, a cheeseburger, and no onions and chicken fingers. I was completely joking, and that was their exact order. It freaked me out. I made him let me run the food to the table to make sure he wasn't effing with me. No, I've had it where I've guessed things, but not like that. That's a little too quidinky dink. Real quick, where's everyone watching from? Don't be shy. We do not bite. Say a quick hello in the chat. And don't forget to subscribe, as I said earlier. YouTube likes to be pesky, so if you are subscribed, just triple check. As well, we're going through glitch in the matrix stories. A lot of these stories I feel like I don't consider them glitch in a matrix stories. I consider them more paranormal, but we'll go with the flow. Chris Barber goes Earth. Dusty, I do know where you're from. But if you haven't, if you guys are watching and it's your first time here, don't feel free to say hi. We do not bite. We're like a big family here. It's like a huge hangout. So we all are welcome. Because I know sometimes I'm a lurker and I sometimes don't say hi. So if you guys are lurking, feel free to say hi. Number 19, I felt like I was trapped inside of a video game. As often as every couple of days, I vividly remember being exactly where I am as it is, but at a different time, like repeating a cutscene in a video game. It's frequent enough I've repeatedly questioned the legitimacy of my existence. Tyrana, thank you for the super sticker of the fitness pair celebrating. Hearts for Tyrana. Thank you, Tyrana. Gunner Girl goes, don't be afraid to say hi. I'm talking about people that might be out there that are kind of shy and don't want to say hi. That might have come across the stream. Heather Whatever goes, I love how Lisa works on those words until she gets the Heather Whatever, I like to pronounce it correctly. I don't know. I guess I get annoyed when I don't pronounce it correctly, so I try. Number 20, I had premonitions in the form of random dreams. I had a dream about a hamster running on a wheel. When I woke up, my roommate said someone threw a hamster down the trash chute. I also had a dream about a white rat. And the next day, my friend texted me that his white pet rat had died. Oh. Number 21, two total strangers had the same dream about meeting each other, which came true. This didn't happen to me, but to my dad. He works for a heating and air conditioning company, so he often has to go out to people's houses to fix things. About 5 years ago, he told me he had a bizarre dream where he went on a call to an elderly woman's house. He'd never seen the house or this woman before, but he said it was bizarre because of how realistic the whole thing felt. He fixed her broiler in the dream, chatted for a bit, and then left. About a week later, his company gets a call from an elderly woman needing her boiler fixed. They send my dad on the job. When he arrived, he said it was the exact same house from his dream and the same old lady. He knew her name before he even had to ask and knew his way around the house without having gone inside yet. When she opened the door, she said, "Hi, Gary." And when he asked how she already knew his name, she said she had a dream last week that her boiler broke and that my dad is the one who came to fix it. So she just knew that would be his name. Two complete strangers, never having met each other, had the same exact dream that they would meet each other, and they did. The whole thing is so crazy. Melissa Smith goes, so that person has ESP only when it has to do with rodents? Melissa goes, definitely covering for an affair they are having. Okay. That's a logical explanation, Melissa. It is, to debunk that. Number 22, I found a location where people can spawn and despawn. This just happened quite recently. I was heading towards a place from a train station that was being remodeled, and there's a huge chunk that's under construction. I got a bit lost in the area, and my Google Maps was telling me that I should go through one path, but I couldn't since the whole area was basically off limits and I should take a detour. This was some busy underpass with people going to the platforms, and there was one big temporary plywood wall with big signs of under construction, unauthorized access, forbidden, no entry. This part got weird. That plywood wall had a plywood door, and people were entering and exiting it like a normal busy door. Completely normal looking people that look like they don't belong in a construction area. Even some old woman entered it. So then I thought that the map is working fine, so I decided to go through the door, and it got even weirder. On the other side was just a huge empty area completely under construction, an area of sand, piles of gravel, some pillars, and construction in the distance. The edge of the underpass was completely unfinished. I was really confused since I wasn't far behind the last person who went through the door, and I had no idea where the guy went. There was no path. It didn't seem to look like there was some path where the people would have gone. There's a big gravel road in front of me going a bit to the side, and the map was telling me to follow some similar path. So I thought maybe I should check it out a bit. Except F no, a big caterpillar tractor sped up along the road, and I wasn't planning to walk near that. I saw the guy in the tractor looking at me confused, so the next thing I thought was to go back since I shouldn't even be here. I opened the door, and a few people walking away to a platform looked at me weirdly like I did when I saw people entering the door. No one entered after I went through, nor when I came out. So after that, I just had to take the detour since I was in a hurry. Anyway, and forgot about it for the rest of the day. Kyle goes, it leads to the back rooms. Heather, whatever goes, I dreamt I lost the stones in my wedding ring, but found them. Next day was taking broccoli out of the microwave. It leaked, burned my hand, and I hit the top of the door, scattering stones. I knew I would find them. Number 23. In the middle of a conversation, I heard the word skip. I was listening to my friend talk, and he suddenly just lagged out, I guess. He sounded like a static phone and then repeated a couple of words. Dusty Lane goes, portals? Possibility. Because the person in that story was saying, they saw just people walking through the door like it was the thing to do. And then when he or she walked through it, it was completely different. Like it was a construction site, like what the outside was showing. So that's weird. Number 4, in a weird twist of fate, my lie became the truth. Was going to be late and was coming up with a story in order to avoid getting in trouble. Story I came up with is that as I was being pulled over by a cop for speeding, someone rear-ended him and it hit my vehicle. Had a pretty big dent in my truck, but no one knew what I drove yet as I was new to the job. 5 minutes later, I got pulled over for going 75 and a 65, and lo and behold, someone clipped the cop car and pushed the car into my truck. Ticket was excused. Boss told me it was okay. Got that bumper fixed for free and a grand from the dude's insurance company, the one who hit the cop car. Whoa, that's crazy. Danielle Miles goes like the door to Harry Potter. What was that? Platform 9 3/4? Yeah, like platform 9 3/4. But it's still weird. Just imagine seeing that. To go back to that story about there's a door, and on the plywood it says do not enter, no trespassing, construction, and you see a bunch of people going through it. So you're like, what the hell? Let's go through it. And you go through it, and on the other side of the door is something completely different and the people are gone. That would be trippy. Daniel Miles goes, in my ham radio days, there was a box that we could go in between the radio station waves. My dad used to be, I still have my license, I think, for ham radio. My dad used to be really big in ham radio, so he took me to get my license. Number 25, we were in the same vicinity without realizing it. When I was little, 6 years old, my parents took us to Disneyland in Florida. We went to go watch one of those shows with parrots. During the middle, I had to go to the bathroom, so my mom took me and left my dad and my sister to watch the show. When we came back, the entire stadium was empty, so we thought the show ended and we went back to the bathroom area to wait for my dad, thinking that's where he must have taken my sister since it's the only bathroom station in the area. We sat on the bench and waited for 2 hours before my mom gave up. This was pre cell phone. The only remarkable thing during this time was that one of those iguana lizard things was fighting a squirrel behind the bench, and I watched that with great joy. I actually remember this. We did some other stuff, then went back to the hotel room to wait for them. The entire time, my mom was annoyed at my dad saying it's so irresponsible of him. A few hours after we got back to the hotel room, my dad and sister, who was a year younger than me, came back, and obviously they started arguing, both saying they were waiting for the other at the bathroom. Me and my sister, on the other hand, started telling each other about the lizard and squirrel we saw fighting. Apparently, both of us saw what happened from the same vantage point on that bench. My parents stopped to listen to us and asked us to clarify. We both saw the same lizard, same squirrel fighting from the same point on the bench. It was one of those inexplicable occurrences, but they didn't give it further thought until my sister and I brought it up. Remember that time we saw the lizard and squirrel fight? And my mom was like, yeah, that was a weird day. David Pumpkins is asking, what class amateur radio license do I have? I don't remember, David. I don't. I don't, because I haven't used it in so long. It's been a while. I think I still have it. I'm not sure. I know before my dad had passed, he had renewed it. I remember my call sign, but I don't remember what type of license it was or what class. Number 26, a footprint appeared without the ground being touched. I was standing outside work having a smoke. I was looking at the bike rack and thinking about how it was silly they just placed one there and didn't bolt it down or anything. Then a bird footprint showed up. Just one footprint, like a ghost bird put just one foot down in the middle of the otherwise undisturbed snow. It happened right in front of me. I was looking exactly where it happened, when it happened. Very weird. Most likely, the snow just happened to collapse in the shape, but still, it was strange. Water Dragon goes, my dad's call sign was VE3MYT. Mine was KD6NDR or KD6NUR. Because in the state of California, the number, I believe, was 6. And I even remember my dad's, too. Number 27, radar detector. This happened to my dad, so it's not exactly a personal story. Anyway, my dad was driving down a long, lonely highway in Ohio doing about 90 in his Z28 with a radar detector. Z28, that's a Corvette, right? If I'm not mistaken. Rolling hills and whatnot meant that cops could hide at the bottom before you could see them and slow down. So all of a sudden, his radar detector starts blaring and he slams on the brakes. Right over the hill, there's a squad car running radar. He's super relieved, but when he looks at the detector, it's not even on the windshield. It was unplugged and in the glove compartment. That's scary. That's crazy. Number 28, The Voice. When I was like 10 or 11, I was going to the beach with my aunt and her friends. There were two cars. There were two cars of us. To get there, we had to go through a very large industrial area. We didn't know the direction, so our car was following the other. Suddenly, they did an unexpected turn, and so our driver had to take a sharp bend. In that moment, we heard a very clear, loud voice inside the car saying, laughing, sharp bend, huh? The driver immediately hit the brakes. We looked at each other puzzled. We all recognized it as a voice not belonging to any of us. In the very same time, we noticed that the other car has stopped as well. The other driver got out of the car with a scared face and shouted to us, Did you hear that as well? They heard the very same thing inside their car. The area around was fully deserted. That's more of like a ghost story, I feel like, not a glitch in the matrix, but 29. I woke up to random faces on the wall staring right at me. I woke up from a dream where I died, and when I opened my eyes, all I saw were faces all over the walls staring at me. It was terrifying. I got up from my bed and turned on the light. The faces didn't go away. I left the room and made sure I was awake. I was. I wrote on my computer, drank some water, and when I went back in my bedroom, the faces were gone. I believe this is a sleep hallucination, which I had another experience of as well. Number 30. I experienced a bizarre glitch in the Matrix. I had a glitch in the Matrix just today. I was doing a damage audit and inventory audit on our fleet vehicles today. I did the damage audit first. I found a vehicle with significant damage and listed out the details. This was among about 10 damaged vehicles inside of about 30 we had on the lot. Well, upon turning in the damage audit, I'm told the vehicle is not on our lot. Befumbled, I went and checked, and it was not where it was when I inspected it. I searched the whole lot, gone. We had no transport today, meaning the vehicles were never moved. We also checked the location history of it, and it had only been rented and returned out of one location about 20 minutes away. It had never been on our lot before. Here's where it gets creepy. I'm thinking, okay, I just had the unit number wrong. Nope. I pulled up previous inspections and it had the exact same damage on it that I had written out. So somehow I inspected a vehicle properly that was not and had never been on my lot. Just stopping for gas. My boyfriend told me this one, and his sister and mom confirmed it. He was driving through Texas on his way to visit relatives. It's dead of night on a two-lane highway in the middle of nowhere. He hadn't passed a gas station in a while and his tank was getting low, so decided to fill up at the next available station. After a while, he rolls into a small town. There's a lit up diner on the right and local gas station on the left. All the lights are on and cars filling up, so he figures this place is open. It seems to be exceptionally busy for this time of night, but he really needs gas, so decides to wait in line to fill up. There's only two cars ahead of him, so it shouldn't take long. At this point, his sister wakes up in the back seat. What's taking so long? It's been like 10 minutes and not one car has moved. Then all of a sudden, his sister blurts out, None of the people are moving. Sure enough, the people waiting in the cars, the people filling up, the cashier, and people in the convenience store, none had moved since they pulled up to the station. His heart is racing at this point, but he pulls up to get a closer look. Sure enough, every single person at this gas station is a mannequin. So basically, they peeled out of there and never looked back. I wish they had taken pictures because I would have loved to see it. No, I guess everybody they were mannequins, which was weird. I know it sounds like a movie, Heather whatever says. It does. I don't feel like that's a glitch in the matrix. I just feel like that's something crazy. That's just weird. Voices in the wilderness. I am from Finland, and that's also where these things I'm about to describe to you happened. This was some years ago, pre smartphone GPS era. It was the end of the summer, and myself and two friends were on a camping trip way up in the north in Lapland. The mosquito season was over, and the weather was cooling down in anticipation for the coming fall. The three of us had packed food and gear for a 10-day trek. The car we arrived in had been left at the parking lot of a visitor center. This happened within the premises of the Urho Kikkonen National Park. I know I butchered that. A 985 square mile stretch of wilderness near the Russian border. The terrain there varies greatly, from treeless and semi-mountainous to dense forest of spruce and pine and dwarf birch. There are lots of swamps. Seeing reindeer is not uncommon, and some nights you might hear wolves in the distance. You can run into a bear or a wolverine in this place, but of course, normally they would avoid people. We mostly camped in a tent, but some nights we used shelters and simple huts provided for travelers free of charge. The trip had lasted 5 days. We were at the furthest of any kind of civilization we were going to be on that particular outing. Truly in the middle of nowhere. There really is nothing there. There are no villages, towns, or industry. The place is a national park, after all. Seeing other hikers happen from time to time. You'd see some people in the distance, maybe. Very rarely would you come face to face with anyone. So, in the middle of our trip, we were camped in a small clearing, woodland extending around us for a considerable distance in all directions. It was already dark. We had eaten our evening meal, and all three of us were jammed into our only tent. It was a bit cramped, but we fit. We took turns carrying it during the hikes. We were just exchanging some jokes and crude humor in the dark, like guys in their 20s do about to go to sleep in our sleeping bags. When we quieted down, we began to hear it, talking, and the sound of machinery. Given our location, this was profoundly weird. We camped in a tent because there was no huts nearby. Maybe there was another camp somewhere near us. We couldn't quite make out what was being said, but it was a human voice. No doubt about it. But nothing really could explain the sound of heavy machinery. It sounded like an excavator or a tank, something big, powerful, and really not too far away. Combined with the sound of talking, we thought construction yard. But at that time of night, in an unpopulated, protected nature reserve, we got out of our tent. It was cold and pitch black. The campfire had some coals still glowing. We took out our flashlights. My two buddies have always been a lot braver than me. The sound was clearly coming from the north, maybe half a kilometer away. We thought the construction might be going on behind a small hill some distance away. We could see no lights or anything. We still could not make out what was being said. The speaking like voice was monotonous, and it was impossible even to say what language was being used. Still sounded a lot like a person speaking, though. You may be aware of that, the sort of spooky phenomenon of hearing a human voice in static. Maybe you've used a blow dryer and been sure someone is talking. Turn it on and turn it off, and it was just something the brain tried to interpret from the steady hum. Maybe it was sort of like that. It's hard to explain. The machinery-like sound continued, not loud, but you could sort of make out the powerful engine. At times, accelerating, adding power. At times, at idle. My two friends resolved to go find out what was going on. We put our warm clothes back on, donned our boots, and I sat next to the dying fire, adding some more wood to it. I would stay at camp while my buddies left to check out the mystery construction yard in the middle of nowhere in Lapland woods. So there I sat. The guys took out their maps, took a compass heading, and left, and I could hear them make their way through the forest, see the lights from their flashlight. Then they were gone. The weird sound continued unaltered. They were gone 15 minutes, then maybe 30. Then the better part of an hour. It was odd, judging by the volume of the sound. They should have reached it, checked it out, and been back already. I added more firewood and tried to make out what the person talking was saying, but it was too tiny and obscured. The guys had been away for over 2 hours. I figured they had stayed for coffee in the construction guys or something. Then the sound stopped, just like that. It just ended. All at the same time. The engine sound and the voice both just quit. It was very silent. I waited another 30 minutes, very worried now that something had happened, that maybe my friends were lost. Should I go and try and find them? I shouted their names several times and built the fire pretty big. I was scared crapless when suddenly I saw the flashlight of my friends. Apparently, they were returning in a hurry. The guys got back to camp out of breath. They told me the following. They had followed the sound beyond the small ridge in the distance. There was nothing there, and it seemed like they were not getting any closer to the source of the sounds. They had to stop every now and then, be quiet and listen to it to be able to walk toward it. They walked and stopped like this for some time, then realized they were not getting any closer. The sound did not change in volume at all. They decided to go just a bit further several times when suddenly the sound just stopped, like someone pressed a button on a recording. They realized they had been going on for a long time. They were in the middle of the dark woods alone. They reversed and started heading back at a brisk pace. Eventually, they saw my big-ass fire from the top of a hill and found their way back. The weird thing is, we seem to think the sound stopped at different times. They had been gone 2.5 hours in total. They said the sound stopped at around the 1 hour, 15-minute mark after they left. They then started to head back immediately. Return trip taking a bit longer, even though they kept a good pace. They apparently wandered around a bit. For me, the sound stopped in the 2-hour mark just 30 minutes before they returned. We did not sleep that night. Nothing more happened on that trip, and we never found out what the weird construction yard-like sound was about. When we returned to the park's visitor center some 5 days later, we asked around, but no one knew of any ongoing construction taking place in the whole national park area. Been bugging me ever since. Gene Rick, what's up? Gunner Girl goes, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I'm skeptical. I'm open to it, but skeptical at the same time. I have to see it to believe it. I want to believe. Gene Rick goes, not much at work on a Saturday night. Awesome, Gene Rick. I'm glad you're able to drop by. All right, guys, I'll read one more story from the Glitch in the Matrix stories, and I'll open it up for answer for questions, and then we'll head over to Nerd Report Daily. And we'll go over there and support Brandon and Bernadette. So this one's a dream so real that it must have happened. I had a subjectively long involved dream where I was a vendor in a fish market. I remember getting up early, dressing, doing a whole morning routine, going to get tea, heading out to the docks, buying fish, loading them in a cart, and going to get ice, and then haggling for ice, buying some less fresh fish while I was at it, then going to a market to my stall, setting up and selling fish all day. It was so real. I talked to friends, smoked nasty cigarettes, haggled customers, ate lunch, had tea, and just lived it through the day. At the end of the day, I cleaned up, counted my cash, paid the stall rent, went home, cooked some of the fish I had sold, slinged with some veggies and rice that I traded for. I drank more tea, relaxed for a while, then drew a hot bath, soaked and smoked some more cigs, then went to bed. The next morning, I woke up refreshed, ready to go down to the docks to buy fresh catch, except I was in my house next to my wife. Truck parked outside, and it was Saturday. No work. My wife and I were getting geared up to go skiing in Oregon, and the car was already packed. Weird thing was, in the dream, I was single and a smoker. I'm not. And the whole long dream had been in fluent Chinese, the effortless kind of fluency that only comes from a lifetime of speaking it. Oh, and I had been Chinese. I'm a big, hairy, white dude, somewhat fluent in Spanish, and I know a little bit of Russian, but it was just weird. I never worked in a fish market. I wondered who I was. I wonder what that was. Melissa goes, I've accepted Bigfoot in my heart. Guys, what did you think of those glitch in the Matrix stories? I felt like some of them are more paranormal than glitches in the Matrix, but Matthew goes, a smoke and a pancake. Daniel goes, there's colored footprints in the middle of the sidewalk. And to reference that comment, Daniel goes, I got a chunk of concrete that came with the property here. It looks like someone poured concrete in a big footprint. Oh, that's cool. Heather, whatever goes, great stories. Yes, a mix of paranormal and unexplained. Matthew goes, yes, you could have been anyone from anywhere in the world, not just ancestry. You are now true. Kind of agree. He probably was, he was dreaming, he could have been dreaming about a past life. Bernadette sees the pinche duck. Julissa goes, all great stories. I know I put the duck in I wanted Skeleton Duck to meet E.T. Chris was listening contentedly. D Nice put something in Telegram for me. D Nice, you mind if I share it? It's funny. Matthew goes, I see the skeleton duck, but Superman and E.T. disappeared. Heather, whatever goes, duck phone home. Daniel goes, it's nice to hear all aspects of the story and other people's opinions. Melissa, she's asking why YouTube's going vertical. It's actually, just don't tell anybody. It puts us in another algorithm to get more reach. So I'm trying something new. Just testing something out is what I'm doing. All right, guys, if you have any questions, answers, criticisms, complaints, D Nice goes, I really enjoyed all you shared tonight, Lisa. Just to try something different, Melissa. We'll see how this goes. It was an interesting topic for me because I was always wondering. It's something I've always heard about, glitch in the Matrix, and that we're living in a simulation. I've always been, I just always wanted to know where that theory or what that theory was about, so it was kind of cool. Thank you, Daniel. It makes you smaller on the screen, but you're still bigger in our hearts. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Angelica, what's up? Matthew goes, why does Nerd Report not say Nerd Report? Wake Sheepberry, what's up? Thank you, Julissa, saying thanks. Lisa, great stream. Gunner Girl, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. You always teach me something new. Next stream, I'll try to find a video just to show you an example of the videos, if I can find one, floating around because I didn't look for any videos this time around. But next stream, I'll share a video of a glitch in the Matrix. Chris Barber goes, how much pain do you get wearing glasses with a hat? It kills me. Chris. All right, guys, I'll give you a little secret. Hold on, let me take these off. I'll give you a little secret. Yes, My ears would hurt me when I wear a hat, but I have these little things on there. These little rubber things. Believe it or not, my ears don't hurt anymore. And it also another reason why I got those, it also keeps my glasses from sliding down my face. Well, it's supposed to. It kind of does keep them up, but they still slide a little bit. But that actually, because the headphones can hurt too when I have headphones on. But because I put those little rubber things on my arms of my glasses, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, I agree, Daniel. Headphones and glasses, they're not comfortable. They aren't. But because I have those little rubber things, it's because I moved them. So now I gotta put them back. It helps like big time. I had to do them because when I first got these, it would hurt like crazy, Chris. So I know what you're talking about. And even putting headphones on, it does. But now I don't have a problem. Water dragon, I got the rubber things on Amazon. Melissa goes, wearing rubber things is very responsible of you, Lisa. I forgot what they're called. Like rubber, I just put rubber tips for glasses. I got them on Amazon. Which is funny because I saw an infomercial that claimed that they would keep, the glasses on, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Let me look those up." Because usually I won't buy from an infomercial or something. I'll look to see if there's an equivalent to it on Amazon. So that's where I got these. When Chris Barr goes, winter really sucks when you wear glass. It does. It depends on where you're at. It does. Water dragon thinks gotta get some rubbers. These seem to work. So for me, they do. I haven't had a problem. Let me check something real quick, guys. Keep the questions going, guys. Because half of those infomercials places, I don't know if they're reputable. So I usually always go to Amazon to find like an equivalent to it. Chris goes, I need some rubbers too. Thanks, Lisa. They help. They kind of keep them in place too. Except when I'm hiking or something, that's when they'll start, or if I get sweaty, they'll start, they'll slide down. But for the most part, they stay up. Because the Ray-Bans, they don't have the little knobbies here. So they slide. It's only downfall of Ray-Bans. Melissa Smith, I am not sure. I think it was on Nerd Report Daily. I want to say. I'm not sure. Water Dragon, I agree. Amazon is awesome. They have everything. Tyranna, I'm trying to I have gone hiking, but I'm just going to ones like I've shown already because I'm trying to get my endurance back. I haven't gone hiking in a long time, so I'm trying to like condition my legs again. D, nice. Oh my gosh. I used to separate rubbers on my downtime at one of my previous jobs. So much variety. You know, the naughty rubbers. My mind was blown. Heather, whatever goes, I'm working on endurance too. Pinche winter. Gunner Girl goes, what do you call those temple things hubby needs? Is looking for some. I think that's what they're called, Gunner Girl. Like like the padding, temple padding for the glasses. If you put something like that, you just like in Amazon or something, I'm sure it'll pop up. Let me check something real quick. Make sure it's all set up here. Give me a second, guys. Keep the questions coming, guys. Water Dragon goes nose clips. D Nice goes, it's 8:57. Okay, D Naughty is waking up. Wink Shape Berry goes, I think your glasses look good, Lisa. You should do some hiking vids, especially in a spooky place. There is there's two places. I want to go back to the S Bridge. And do, because the last time I was there, I didn't do the entire hike. I want to do the entire hike. And then I still want to go to the Cobb's Estate, but that's like a short hike. I can probably do that anytime because it's short. And then there's also, I believe there's Turnbull Canyon here in Whittier. You guys, I don't know if any of you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's said to be haunted as well. Angelica goes, your glasses look just like mine. Are they Ray-Bans? Yes, they are. I love Ray-Bans. I will not go to anything else. I like them. I've never had any problems with them, so I like to stick with them. Wink Shaper goes, there are scary walks. There's also scary places I can probably find that I can just take a stroll to as well. I just have to look around and Google. D Nice goes, do you think ghost sightings are really our minds jumping in and out of dimensions or realities? I don't think so, D Nice. I think it's within our dimension or within but I don't think it's our minds jumping in and out of dimensions or realities. I think we're still in the same reality. It's something coming into our reality. But I think that our mind, because if we know this location is super haunted and we know it's haunted, I think our mind can play tricks on us. Like we'll think we saw something when we didn't. So in some cases, it's probably better not knowing if a place is haunted. Daniel goes, 30 years ago, we had a gold claim across the lake, and I found a pair of Ray-Bans in a tree, middle of nowhere. Oh, that's crazy. Tyranna goes, have you looked for more skeledex? I have, and I found one, but it's more of a skeleton goose, as I call it. That's crazy, Daniel. Not like a skeleduck like that skeleduck. It's all you know where it is. But it's like I call it, it's like a it's a duck, but it's more like the shape of a like a goose. I know, D Nice, it depends on which one. D Nice goes, skeleducks are expensive. Considering, yeah, actually, no, this one wasn't because I got it during Halloween. And it actually, but now if you're trying to look for them, yes. Depends on what time of year you're looking for. It seems like Halloween, like the skeletons are all on sale. It's the other times of the year where it's not. Or if you get it after Halloween with the after Halloween sales. Check something real quick. D Nice goes, your show made Skeleduck more popular. More popular, valuable. Wink Sheep Beard goes, D Nice. That is a theory that ghosts are entities dipping in and out of our dimension. I didn't even think I could find a Skeleduck. I was just going, oh, I like rubber duckies and skeletons. Let me see if I can find like a rubber duck type skeleton. And I did. Water Dragon goes, Lisa needs a sponsor. So many possibilities. I do, Water Dragon. I do. I don't know if anyone out there listening that comes across this stream needs. I do. There is so many possibilities with me. Chris Barber usually ends up buying a bunch of different spiders at Halloween. I did too. I have a Skella spider at home. Wake Sheep Berry Skeleduck is behind me. If you're wondering what Skeleduck is. It's a rubber ducky skeleton. The only other one I've been able to find is a skeleton of a goose. It's a duck, but the shape of like a goose. Keep the questions going, guys. Daniel, that is a good question. Can ducky float? I have never tried, so I don't know. I don't know. I would think it would for a little bit, then it would sink because it has holes. Water Dragon goes, if it floats, it's a witch. I have not tried. I was actually, because Daniel was saying to put like glow in the dark. I think it was Daniel saying to put glow in the dark paint on the duck. I was thinking of doing that. Like putting it in the eyes so the eyes would glow. Wake Sheep Barry goes, I thought Skeleduck was a super villain like Skeletor from He-Man. It sound, you know what? I never thought of that, but that's a good name for a villain. Thank you, D Nice. I appreciate that. D Nice or Daniel goes neon green or pink. I was gonna put like just on the eyes, just to do something different. I know Water Dragon. That is sad. What they did, they would sink. They would tie cinder. I don't know how they did it, but they would throw you in the river, and if you floated, you're a witch, and if you didn't, you weren't. And obviously, probably they all did not float, and they lost their lives probably because of it, and it sucks. Tyrana goes, have you seen other skeleton things besides ducks that you like? Yes, I have. There's like this crazy, it's on Amazon. And it's like a dragon looking thing. It has wings. or a vulture, something. I think it's a vulture because it's like this, yeah, a dragon looking vulture looking thing, and it looks cool. Because I already have a wolf, a howling wolf, and a snake. I should bring the snake in my studio and the wolf because I have it in my room. Water dragon likes the raven head skulls on Amazon. That's cool. I'm pretty sure there's some other things I haven't seen that I probably would think was cool in skeleton form. Daniel goes, "We have the real deal." D Nice goes, "A snake and a wolf have a baby. What do you get?" Snulf. Oh, Chris Barber has seen the dragons during Halloween time at Joanne's. Ooh, cool. Cool. I mean, I like those 12-foot tall skeletons from Home Depot, but there's no way that's gonna fit inside my house. And I know a house in my neighborhood, they still have it out in their front yard. They have 2 of them. One with a pumpkin in it, they left them out in their front yard. Because 'Cause I'm like, "Where are you gonna store that thing? That thing's huge." But that was one of the things I was looking at, but I don't think I would ever, I mean, that was one of the popular hard to get things, I think, at Home Depot were those 12-foot skeletons. But I don't think I would ever get one because I have no, I don't know how I would store it besides leaving it out on my front yard and for the neighbors to the Karens to come out and complain that it's out in the front yard. I do have a neighbor, which is cool because when I walk by, I do have a neighbor that has a dinosaur skeleton and a baby dinosaur skeleton out in the front yard, and then someone complained to him about it. That they had to take it down, but it's still up. Like they literally like for St. Patrick's Day, they have the little top hats in green and like a green lei around the necks. And like in April, they put like bunny ears. Well, technically Easter's I think is at the end of the month this year, but you'll see like different seasons they put um like Santa hats and stuff are on them. So I thought that was cool. Water dragon goes fold it in half and stuff it in your crawl space. So whenever I walked by that house, I smile because I think that's like the most awesome thing. Wink Sheep Berry goes, "Cool. I was gonna ask if you'd like to." I would take a dinosaur. The one my neighbor has is pretty cool. They have like mama dinosaur and I don't mama dinosaur and baby dinosaur out in their front yard. It's so cool. All right, guys. I was waiting on Nerd Report Daily. They were running a little late, but it looks like they're on now. So, guys, thank you. I'm going to end the stream here. You should be automatically sent to Nerd Report Daily. If not, head over to Nerd Report Daily and say hi to Bernadette and Brandon. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'll see you on the next one, which will be Monday. I may go on tomorrow. I am not sure. We'll see. I need to get a schedule so you guys know. Um, I'll try to go on like every other day. That's my plan. But thank you guys for joining me and talking about if we're living in the simulation and glitch in the matrix. We'll see you on the next one for sure. Will be Monday. Stay spooky, sweet nightmares, and good night, guys. And thank you again. You guys are awesome. Good night, guys. And head over to Nerd Report Daily.